Good morning, friends. Welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS. So, guys, here we are about to start the session. So, friends, today we are not taking live class because I have some medical urgency and I have to visit hospital. So that's why we cannot take this class today. So let's start this session. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. So as you can see on the screen, we will be starting with this particular quote. And this statement was made by Cristiano Ronaldo. He says that we don't want to tell our dreams, we want to show them. This is what the point is about, that your actions, they should speak louder than your words. Okay, your actions, they should speak louder than your words. This is the major point that we have to understand. Like whatever actions we are taking, that's the most important part here. You are telling something about your dreams, you are mentioning that you are doing this, you are doing that. आप यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, आप आईएएस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, this and that, it is not that significant, because when you will be clearing this exam, the world will come to know. So your focus should be on your action. That should be the focus area. Okay, your focus should be on the hard work. That's the point here, because that is what is going to, you can say, help you out in achieving your goals, not your words. As you, when you will be successful, definitely the world will come to know, and then there will be respect for you as well. So we should never brag about our dreams and all, we should keep on working on them, and this is the goal that we have to understand here. This is what the point Cristiano Ronaldo is making. Okay, so let's move to the next here. Now as you can see on the screen here, we have this news: India China troops disengage at LAC friction point in Ladakh. So it's a positive news that is coming out. Okay, we need to welcome this particular news. काफी अच्छी चीज है, ये हो रही है. Both the countries, like, this is the disengagement process that is going on. हम disengage कर रहे हैं. It's a good thing. Okay, it's a good thing. And presently this engagement, the this this engagement that is going on is in line with the upcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, where Modi ji is also going to be present, where Xi Jinping is also going to be present. Okay, so it's an important time that, like, we are realizing this. Even the China is realizing this particular part, that they need India's support for the success of SCO, for the success of BRICS. Okay, without India's support, you cannot say that BRICS is going to be successful or Shanghai Cooperation Organization is going to be successful. So both the leaders, they are going to meet after, you can say, uh, 3 years, lump sum 3 years, because last time that they met in BRICS summit in Brasilia. Okay, तो ब्रासीलिया समिट के टाइम उनकी मुलाकात हुई थी. उसके बाद जो है हमारी मुलाकात, हमारे लीडर्स की मुलाकात नहीं हुई है. Okay, and we know that since April 2020 this particular issue is prolonging. This issue where China appeared to be assertive, and this issue was prolonging. So it's a good thing that both the countries now they are working on disengagement. Okay, so I would like to tell you one thing. Already there are multiple agreements that are in place. So there is a peace and tranquility agreement. There is an agreement called peace and tranquility agreement that both the countries signed in 1993, I guess. Okay, so we have confidence building measure system that is in place. हमारे पास confidence building measure का भी system available है. Okay, these all tools are available to us. The point is this is the time that we execute it. Okay, हम सब कुछ यूज करें, and both the countries, we need to develop trust on each other. So once you will be developing trust on each other, definitely these issues can be resolved. Other point is this: you can change your friends. Okay, you can change your friends but not your neighbors. This is what you have to understand. फ्रेंड्स बदल जाएंगे लेकिन नेबर्स जो हैं वो एज इट इज रहेंगे. नेबर्स यू कैन नॉट चेंज. So it is important that we need to have good relation, good equation with the neighbors. Okay, that's the point here. वो चीज़ होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. This is the whole angle that we have to understand. ये सारी चीज़ें हमें समझना ज़रूरी है. So we'll move to the next news. Longest reigning monarch of UK, Elizabeth II, she died. Okay, and she has seen how this world has been changing. Okay, she has seen, like, how things changed from British rule or British dominance in the global politics to the present स्टेटस ऑफ मल्टीलेटरल वर्ल्ड। आज की दुनिया मल्टीलेटरल वर्ल्ड की दुनिया है, और ये सारे चेंज जो है क्वीन एलिजाबेथ ने अपनी आंखों से देखे हैं, एंड शी हैज़ बीन इनडायरेक्ट पार्टिसिपेंट इन दोज चेंजेस एज वेल. So this is how things are. Now we'll move to the next point. India ranks 132 in Human Development Index. Okay, so it's a really sad state that things are not in a on a good, you can say, it is not showing the good picture about India. And specifically you can link it with the migratory crisis that happened, migrant crisis that happened during the COVID time. We know that migrants were majorly hit. It was majorly worker class which was hit during the corona, and your economy is still struggling. आपकी इकोनॉमी अभी भी जो है वो स्ट्रगल कर रही है. ओके, सो थिंग्स आर नॉट ग्रेट फॉर द वर्कर्स. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर इज नॉट डूइंग गुड. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर इज नॉट डूइंग good primarily because export market is certainly impacted. At present we are saying that recession is going on in the west. Okay, वेस्ट के अंदर अगर रिसेशन है तो हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स को डेंट होगा, हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स को असर पड़ेगा. सो दिस इज द पॉइंट हियर, दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. एंड टिल द टाइम योर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज नॉट इन गुड शेप, वी कैन नॉट थिंक अबाउट इम्प्रूविंग द ओवरऑल, you can say, standard of living of the workers that are there. Other than that, like government expenditure on the social safety net, like it has also gone down. तो सरकार का पैसा थोड़ा social safety net के ऊपर थोड़ा कम है. Why it is there? Because you have to prioritize. Now government is thinking of going for capital expenditure, where government will be spending money to develop infrastructure and all. हमारा focus आज की डेट में उसके ऊपर चल रहा है. This is what the point is about. So these are the reasons where we can say that social parameters are, you can say, neglected. We already know that health education in India is not in good shape. Okay, मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज़ आर नॉट अवेलेबल बिकॉज इट वॉज एक्सपोज ड्यूरिंग द कोविड टाइम. तो कोविड टाइम में सब एक्सपोज हो गया था कि आपकी मेडिकल अच्छी नहीं है. एजुकेशन ऑलरेडी वी नो दैट देर इज़ अ, यू कैन से, प्रथम इज द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट कम्स आउट विद द रिपोर्ट. So there is an ASAR report, Annual Survey of Education India report. Okay, that report says that like class 5 student is not able to read class 2 books. That's the situation in India. हालात इस तरीके के हैं. So we'll move to the next part. Next news is related to why was West Bengal left out of talks with Bangladesh. This is what Mamata Didi is saying. Mamata Didi is saying that West Bengal has a direct stake. Okay, so whenever these talks were continuing between India and Bangladesh, West Bengal should be consulted. Now you have to understand, she is basically talking about the recent treaty that we have signed. Okay, India and Bangladesh, we have concluded a treaty on Kushiara River. So this treaty has been, you can say, concluded, and it's a positive development to improve relation between India and बांग्लादेश. ओके, सो ये अच्छी चीज़ हुई है. कुशियारा रिवर हमने जो है ये ट्रीटी सेटल की है. एंड अदर पेंडिंग डिस्प्यूट दैट वी हैव, दैट इज ऑफ तीस्ता वाटर डिस्प्यूट. सो तीस्ता वाटर डिस्प्यूट वो आज की डेट का पेंडिंग है. ठीक है जी, दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. ओके, वो पेंडिंग है. सो दिस इज द ओवरऑल सिनेरियो दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. But this is the debate that we have to look in. Now the debate is this: whenever we talk about international relations, it is part of union list. Okay, ये union list का subject है. So you should know this 7th schedule that we have, and 7th schedule has 3 lists, and in that international relations and all, they are part of union list. It means that it is not required for your central government to consult the state government. But since the agreement will be signed between two countries, and impact of that agreement will come on the state. तो देखिए यहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं वेस्ट बंगाल की पॉपुलेशन इम्पैक्ट हो रही है. सो इम्पैक्ट विल बी ऑन द स्टेट. दैट्स वाई second ARC, okay, it has suggested that while carrying out these treaties, the respective state should also be consulted. उनको भी कंसल्ट करना चाहिए. इट इज़ नॉट कंपल्सरी, इट इज़ जस्ट अ रिक्वेस्ट, इट इज़ जस्ट अ सजेशन. ये सिर्फ एक सजेशन है कि आइडियली यू शुड कंसल्ट दोज स्टेट्स. इवन इफ द यूनियन गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट कंसल्टिंग, यूनियन इज नॉट रॉन्ग एट ऑल. आप यूनियन को गलत नहीं ठहरा सकते अगर वो कंसल्ट नहीं करते हैं तो ये कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि उनको कंसल्ट करना है. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, दैट्स द लॉजिक बिहाइंड इट. सो दैट वाज द थिंग but Mamata Didi, she is now complaining that, like, you know, West Bengal government should have been consulted, this and that, भाई इनसे consult करना चाहिए था और ये सारी चीज़ें, but मोदी जी ने नहीं किया, तो अब कुछ नहीं कर सकते इसके लेके, okay? And definitely she is again like trying to politicize this, so she will be saying that it will have impact in 2024, this and that, and all those politics things, okay? So ये सारी चीज़ें चलती रहती हैं, and this is what she was trying to make a point. So let's move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे जाएंगे. Let's try to figure it out what exactly is there in the editorial section. Okay, so देखते हैं आपके editorial section में क्या खास है आज. So here we are moving, and this is the editorial that we have now. Like bargain versus the principle is the toss up. So we will not be picking it up because majorly it's a पॉलिटिकल टोन्ड एडिटोरियल. तो पॉलिटिक्स में क्या चल रहा है उसके अंदर हमें कुछ लेना देना नहीं होता है, स्पेसिफिकली द पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स हमारे एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. सो विल डायरेक्टली रश टू दिस पर्टिकुलर एडिटोरियल, दैट इज द आउटलाइन ऑफ एन एसेंशियल global pandemic treaty. Okay, so here the point the gentleman is making this, that this is the time that at present we should think about having a global treaty to deal with the pandemic. Okay, see why this global treaty is required to deal with the pandemic, because this corona, it has exposed one thing, exposed that if you want to fight against these particular problems, okay, this type of problem, then it have to be a collective fight, because if the collective fight is not there, then definitely we will not be able to deal with this. आप किसी भी हालात में इस चीज से डील नहीं कर पाओगे अगर आपका एफर्ट कलेक्टिव नहीं होगा. एंड इट हैज टू बी इंक्लूसिव एज वेल. नाउ इंक्लूसिव इन द सेंस वी कैन नॉट अवॉइड पुअर कंट्रीज, क्योंकि दिस इज द ग्लोबलाइज वर्ल्ड, इवन द पुअर कंट्रीज दे नीड टू बी वैक्सीनेटेड. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. सो एट प्रेजेंट मेजरली इट इज सीन दैट डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड majorly they have vaccinated their people, and it is the underdeveloped nations which are left behind. तो underdeveloped nations जो हैं वो आज की डेट में पीछे रह गए हैं. This is what the point is about, that we cannot, you can say, we cannot sustain like this. You have to have this arrangement where you need to work with the underdeveloped nation as well. जो गरीब कंट्री हैं उनको भी आपको हेल्प करना पड़ेगा. This is what the point they are making. So ये पॉइंट यहाँ पे बताया जा रहा है. ठीक है जी. सो विल डिस्कस दिस, देखते हैं क्या है यहाँ पे. ओके, सो हेयर इन दिस एडिटोरियल दे आर मेकिंग द सेम पॉइंट, दैट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट फाइट अगेंस्ट कोरोना, इट कैन नॉट बी डन इन आइसोलेशन, दैट यू आर डीलिंग विद इट, एंड यू कैन से अंडर डेवलप्ड नेशन, अफ्रीकन नेशंस, दे आर लेफ्ट बिहाइंड. कि आप कर रहे हो और अंडर डेवलप्ड नेशंस और अफ्रीकन नेशंस जो है वो पीछे रह जाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई दे आर सेइंग दैट दिस इज द टाइम दैट वी नीड टू हैव अ ट्रीटी अंडर द अम्ब्रेला ऑफ WHO, वेयर वी कैन like put up a collective fight. Whole world can put up a collective fight, and specifically that should be inclusive. Okay, because we cannot fight against corona by leaving behind the African nations. That's the clear goal that we have in our mind. So COVID-19, it has exposed multiple things. It has exposed that how fragmented the global fight against these pandemics are. कितना चीजें टुकड़े टुकड़े में बटी हुई हैं. So point you can make that these developed nations, they were, you can say, they were the one who came out with the vaccine first. वहाँ पे वैक्सीन सबसे पहले आती है. They were the one who placed orders. ये लोग ही सबसे पहले ऑर्डर भी प्लेस करते हैं. Okay, and they had sort of a monopoly as well. तो ये मोनोपोली भी अपनी मेंटेन करके रखते हैं. एंड इन दिस होल रेस इट इज सेड दैट द अंडर डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड इट वाज लेफ्ट बिहाइंड. सो अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज दे वर लेफ्ट बिहाइंड, एंड दिस वाज द सिचुएशन. ओके, दिस वाज द सिचुएशन. In this particular fight, there was no single government or institution that can address this emergency single-handedly. Individual countries were not able to deal with it, and even if they were dealing with it, they were just helping out their own people. वो सिर्फ अपने लोगों की ही मदद कर रहे थे. Not, they were not having a outlook of humanity. They were not working for humanity. They were moved by their nationalist sentiments. That's the point. Now, while high income economies are still recovering from the after effects, the socio-economic consequences of the novel coronavirus are irreversible. This is what the point is about. The damage that this corona has done, it is irreversible damage that has been done. तो डैमेज तो irreversible हुआ है, और आपके यहाँ पे like your means people were not prepared for it. Specifically, the situation was much worse in the underdeveloped world. So as per the data, by March 2022, only 3% of the people in low income countries had been vaccinated, compared to 60% in the high income countries. Okay, so with this particular approach you cannot achieve your target. Now, international target to vaccinate 70% of the world population was missed, because like poorer countries were back in the queue. They were not having the ability to develop their own vaccine. They were dependent on the assistance from United Nation and WHO. उन्हीं के ऊपर ये dependent थे, and if the assistance is not provided to them, they will not be able to fight against it. वो बिल्कुल भी इसके साथ डील नहीं कर पाएंगे, ये रियलिटी है. ठीक है जी, we need to be very clear about it. Contrary to that, now India's response was really very appreciated. Okay, so we are a pharmaceutical capital of the world, it is known like that. So we produced like 60% of the world vaccines, and it is part of our diplomacy as well. We carried out vaccine diplomacy, or vaccine Maitri program, under which we were ready to help the underdeveloped world. We provided assistance to our neighbors. Okay, हमने अपने neighbors को भी सबसे पहले help किया था. This is how things were, and we were ready to help them out. We were helping the African nations, some of the African nations. So at present as well, if this world want to fight against corona, it cannot be done without the help and assistance of India. So India की help के बिना ये चीज करना possible ही नहीं है. ठीक है जी, this is the point. That's why they said that this is the time at the global level we need to have a collective treaty, कि सभी कंट्री साथ आ जाएं. यूएन या WHO के लेवल पे हम इस ट्रीटी को एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. So that we can have a collective fight against corona. This is what the major goal is. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या है. So we have this debate today. Okay, so the debate is about, should the mother tongue or English be the medium of instruction? So schools के अंदर primarily what should be the medium of instruction? That's the debate we are doing here. Now if you go by the new education policy says that vernacular language, or the initial, you can say, teaching should be done in the mother tongue. This is what it says. Okay, but things are divided in the sense that parents, now they want their children to learn English. Parents are emphasizing that English should be taught. Okay, पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि बच्चे को इंग्लिश सिखाई जाए. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. So what should be done? What should be done which is having more efficacy? So there are research and statistics which will say that definitely the teaching, specifically in the initial stage of life, okay, like till class 5th, you can say, the medium should be the vernacular language, that's the mother tongue. This is what the point is. Okay, and it is said that if you are using mother tongue, it will be more effective. ये ज़्यादा effective होगा. That's the point. This is what the data says. And new education policy also says that you have to use home language, mother tongue, local language. Okay, till the grade 5, class 5 तक आपको local language में पढ़ाना है, mother tongue में पढ़ाना है. This is the instruction that they are making, and they are quite right about it. इसके अंदर कुछ गलत नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल सही है, because data says that it is more effective. Like this is how things are, and it will be quite right about it. कुछ गलत नहीं होगा इसके अंदर. Okay, so new education policy overall, like it is having the philosophy of privatization of education. Okay, and no regulatory control, etc, etc, etc. But linguistic experts and psychologists, they are of this view that mother tongue is the best mode of communication during the early age of the child. That's the point. Early age in the sense when the growing age is there. So that's why new education policy emphasize that till class 5th we can talk about giving education to children through vernacular mode, through, you can say, mother tongue. This is the point that they are making. Now at present the things are quite different, because parents, this is the case study of Tamil Nadu, where government schools, you can say, parents were putting pressure on the government schools so that they can switch to English medium, and they were taking their children out of the schools. Okay, because they want their children to learn in English. This is the point here. Now there is a history to that. English, you can say, English is seen as a language of upper class. That was the thought process after independence. Okay, but today it is seen as a language of opportunity. So people are having this opinion that if you are conversant in English, then definitely it adds to your, you can say, ability, and wages are higher. If you compare wages when it comes to associated with the vernacular language, it is said that English medium or knowledge of English will help them in getting the higher wages. Salary ज़्यादा अच्छी मिलती है. This is what they think. This is what they think. Whether they are right or not, it's a separate thing. Okay, but this is what people think. This is what the perception is about. So that's why, like, the emphasis is on English. Parents, they want their children to learn English. This is the focus that they have. And like in many places in our country, there are bilingual and multilingual classrooms that are existing. But the point is this: there is no clarity in some areas that what's their mother tongue is about. Now, say Jharkhand state might say that Hindi is the language, but 50 to 60% children, they don't speak the language. How will you have even the vernacular language as your medium? That's the debate that they are addressing. कि वर्नेकुलर लैंग्वेज को भी अगर आपको बनाना है तो वो भी कैसे आपका मीडियम होगा. This is the point they are making. Okay, so India has constructed an education system that is among the most exclusionary in the world, because we are not using the mother tongue, and instead of that we are using a foreign language. So that's why it may lead to exclusion. The person will not be able to understand things, the education that we want to teach them. This is how things are. So for your better understanding, it is said that mother tongue is more effective. Now, there are some other point of view as well, specifically the Dalit groups. They think that English is a tool of liberation. That with learning English, they will be able to place themselves, they will be able to get better jobs in the, you can say, in different areas, more opportunities will be there. So they said that English is a tool to liberate themselves. This is the point. This is the point that they are making, and they are not wrong about it. They are not wrong about it. If you go by the practice, the scientific practice says that second language is helpful for the child. Second language is helpful and it will give confidence to the child, but for that you need to have फुल एक्सपर्टीज ओवर द फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज. अगर आपकी कमांड फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज पे अच्छी है, देन डेफिनेटली दैट फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज विल हेल्प दैट पर्सन, दैट चाइल्ड, इन अटेनिंग प्रोफिशिएंसी, कॉन्फिडेंस ऑन द सेकेंड लैंग्वेज. वहां पे उस बच्चे को बहुत हेल्प होगी, एंड दे विल बी एबल टू इजीली, यू कैन से, डील विद द प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड दे विल हैव मोर कमांड ऑन द सेकंड लैंग्वेज. सो पहली लैंग्वेज में अच्छे से कमांड आना आपको सेकंड लैंग्वेज में हेल्प करता है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. अदर पॉइंट इज दिस: मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म, इट इज ऑल्सो वेरी हेल्पफुल इन आवर लाइफ. ओके, सो इट शुड बी एनकरेज, देर इज नो डिनायल अबाउट इट. सो अगर कोई इंग्लिश सीखना चाहता है तो आपको सिखाना चाहिए, बट फर्स्ट यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट द पर्सन हैव द चाइल्ड हैज अ कमांड ओवर द फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज, दैट्स द मदर टंग. दैट्स द पॉइंट दे आर मेकिंग. Other point they are making is this: children come from different background, and in some cases they are first generation learners without not much support from the home. So in that case, teaching in mother tongue becomes more important. घर से कोई सपोर्ट नहीं होगा और आप उनको डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज सिखा दोगे, इट इज़ नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल, इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. This is what you have to do. So we have to have this multilingual approach, and it need to be, you can say, flexible. You need to promote inclusivity. Multilingual करवाने का ये मतलब नहीं है कि आप इंग्लिश पे ही emphasize करो. You have to understand, you have to teach them the mother tongue as well as the English language as well. दोनों में ही सिखाना की ज़रूरत है. This is what the point is about, and because it is linked with the learning outcomes. Okay, what the child is learning, that's the major point here. So here the vernacular language, if you are conversant in that, definitely it increases, it improves the learning output for the child. तो वहाँ पे बच्चे की learning output no doubt improve हो जाएगी. This is the point that they are making. So that's why this is the debate here. Okay, We need to have mix of both, and new education policy is quite right about it, that for initially क्लास फिफ्थ तक आप वर्नेकुलर लैंग्वेज में पढ़ा सकते हो, बाद में इंग्लिश इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हो. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. ओके, so other point is this, it is also linked with the opportunities. Now why parents are emphasizing on English, parents English के ऊपर क्यों emphasize कर रहे हैं? Because it is linked with the opportunities. Okay, so if you are able to provide job opportunities to the children, they will be happy to teach them vernacular language. तो अगर आप नौकरियां दे दोगे ज़्यादा, तो पेरेंट्स को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी अपने बच्चों को वर्नेकुलर लैंग्वेज पढ़ाने में. ओके, बिकॉज टुडे देर इज अ फाइट फॉर जॉब्स, बेटर पेइंग जॉब्स, एंड दे सी इंग्लिश एज अ टूल टू गेट बेटर पेइंग वेजेस. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. तो इसीलिए पेरेंट्स भी अपने बच्चों को इंग्लिश में सिखाना चाहते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट दे आर मेकिंग हियर. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट हियर. Why US midterm election matters? Okay, so midterm elections are uh, round the corner in November 2022. These midterm elections are to be conducted. The point is this, why they are important is this, because it is going to set the tone for 2024 presidential election. Okay, तो presidential election जो होगे उसका tone यहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं set होने वाला है. And why this is important? Because in US, like, they have a two party system. US has two party system. Okay, so majorly there are two parties, Democrats and Republicans. So at present, whosoever will be winning, like it is said that it will tell the mood of the nation. It will tell the mood of the nation, what is going to happen in 2024. This is what the idea is about. Okay, ये सारी चीज़ें हैं, and we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have this news. Okay, okay, yes. Now hecklers veto cannot be allowed. So this is the debate that is going on, whether hijab should be allowed or not. Okay, so this is the, you can say, trial that is going on. The court is looking into this petition. So they are saying that hecklers veto cannot be allowed. Hecklers veto, they are saying that if someone is teasing, okay, if someone is teasing the girl that she is wearing hijab, now that cannot be the reason that you are asking that girl to not to wear hijab. वो रीजन नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि आप गर्ल को बोलोगे कि आप हिजाब मत पहनो. उनका क्या कसूर है? That's the point they are making here. It is not their fault. You have to understand this. So if someone else is commenting on the, you can say, girl, how can you blame that girl for that? It is not right. This is the point they are making here. So we'll move to the next point. आगे चलते हैं. Let's see what else is there. So this is what the whole thing was about. Okay. So spent nuclear fuel storage should be worked out. Okay. So whenever we talk about nuclear power use, so जब हम न्यूक्लियर पावर का, न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ की बात करते हैं, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, वी ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट disposing of the nuclear waste, because disposing of the nuclear waste, it is one such important activity, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, बिकॉज दैट न्यूक्लियर रेडिएशन, न्यूक्लियर वेस्ट कैन कॉज लॉट ऑफ डैमेज टू द एनवायरमेंट. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. सो हियर सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज लुकिंग इनटू व्हाट द मेथड दैट इज बीइंग यूज्ड इन द कुंडमकुलम न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट. ओके, कि क्या न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट के अंदर मेथड चल रहा है, सो दैट यू कैन से it can be disposed of in a proper way. It can be disposed of with a scientific method. Proper scientific method के साथ उसको dispose किया जाए. This is what the things are. ये सारी चीज़ें हमें समझनी है, ठीक है ना? तो court is looking into this. Definitely it is related to the safety of the people in that area. That their safety will be under threat. Their safety will be under threat. This is the point they are making. Other than that, there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. So here we are moving in. Yes, so much has moved forward on trade, on visa, people to people ties. So it's a good thing. India, you can say, Bangladesh relationship, it has been strengthened by the present visit of Bangladeshi Prime Minister, and lot of important agreements have been concluded. Specifically, one of them is Kushiara River Agreement. Okay, Kushiara River Water Treaty has been concluded, and it's a good thing because it is paving a path. Okay, it is paving a path to resolve the तीस्ता water dispute. तो कहीं ना कहीं तीस्ता वाटर डिस्प्यूट को रिजोल्व करने के लिए ये रास्ता दिखाती है. दिस इज व्हाट द होल थिंग इज अबाउट. So we'll move to the next part now. Nirmala links inflation to the state fuel taxes. Okay, so she's your finance minister is saying that because state governments they are not reducing the VAT. Okay, तो यहाँ पे आप VAT देख सकते हो. She's saying that they are not reducing the VAT. Okay, and that's why fuel prices are still high. Okay, so she's saying that central government has reduced the excise duty. कि central government ने तो excise duty कम कर ली है. Now is the time that state governments they should have also reduced the VAT and other taxes. But the point is this, state governments they need revenue. How can they compromise on the, you can say, taxes that they are going to get through VAT? And other point is this corona was a health crisis. Okay, so health is a state list subject. ये health आपका state list का subject है, and it means that major spending was done by the states. यहाँ पे states जो हैं उन्होंने ज़्यादा spending की थी. Okay, major spending was done by the states. That's why they said that it is important that we need to, you can say, states need to have more revenue. तो वो इसीलिए कम नहीं कर सकते, ये रियलिटी है. बट निर्मला सीतारमन शी इज मेकिंग अ स्टेटमेंट. शी इज सेइंग दैट दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई स्टेट्स, why the inflation is not going down at that rate. क्योंकि महंगाई स्टेट के लॉ की वजह से, स्टेट के टैक्स की वजह से एग्जिस्ट करती है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट शी इज मेकिंग. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट हियर. आगे चलते हैं. So Naga team continues talk on the constitution. Okay, so here we are quite near to conclude this agreement, and these are the things, these are the developments. So government of India is ready to incorporate the Yezabo. Okay, that's the Naga constitution. Yezabo is the term that is used for the Naga constitution into the Indian constitution. Okay, so here we will not be giving them the separate constitution. यहाँ पे separate constitution नहीं होगा, but their ideas of governance, their way of governance will be definitely included in the Indian constitution. तो वो हम Indian constitution में add करने को तैयार हैं. This is what the point we are making here. Okay, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we are ready to do that. So delegation comprising of chief minister and other leaders, they have met, you can say, special director at intelligence bureau, and it is being said that the Yezabo will be incorporated into Indian constitution by presenting a bill in the parliament. Definitely it will be a constitution amendment act bill. Okay, and it will add this new provision. So this new provision will be added. This is the point they are making. When it will be added, there is no timeline mentioned for that. When this bill will be introduced, there is no timeline mentioned for that. उसके लिए कोई timeline वगैरह mention नहीं की गई है कि कब हम जो है इस bill को introduce करेंगे. Okay, this is the point that we have to understand. Let's move to the next news. US to refit Pak F16. India is silent about it. So friends, you have to understand one thing. Whenever these countries are buying weapons, okay, so they will have a long-term contract. The long contract is there. That long contract will also include provisions related to upgrade. So here Pakistan is paying for this particular upgrade, and US is facilitating that. तो हम इसमें कुछ बोल नहीं सकते because it is their contract that they had, that US had to upgrade this. Okay, so there is a history of F16. US got these F16 way back in 1980s. 87 के अंदर इनका पहला डिलीवर हुआ था ये F16, and since then they are using. Okay, as Pakistan got F16, India got, you can say, Mirage 2000. So we placed order with the French and we got Mirage 2000 as a plane. Okay, this is how we have been trying to match them up. Now they are continuing with this, they are upgrading it. Okay, so there we got MiG-29, हमने MiG-29 लिया. Then we got Sukhois. Okay, हमने Sukhoi जो है वो plane लिया यहाँ पे. Today you have got Rafale, and both these countries they have been competing with each other. Okay, regularly Americans have been upgrading these F-16 planes, and they have the latest 20 planes. Other Pakistanis are getting from Jordan and other areas. Okay, and this time that they are going for upgrade to definitely match up to the capabilities of Rafale. Okay, this is what is going on right now. So ये सारी डेवलपमेंट चलती है, दोनों compete करते रहते हैं एक दूसरे के साथ. Under that you can say Pakistan is trying to have these weapons. This is what the point is. Okay, next there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है इसके अंदर. और So this is what the whole thing is about. Okay, directly we'll move to the international page. सीधा international page पे चलेंगे. So already we know this news that she died. Okay, and this is how things are. Other than that, everyone wants me to run in 2024. So he is going to be a candidate from Republicans, I guess. So in this interview, he pointed out about this thing. Okay, so you cannot stop him. Like, he has the right to contest, but ये चलता रहेगा. So we'll move to the next news, that is monetary policy. Monetary tool alone can't tame the inflation. Okay, so this is the statement that your finance minister is making. She is saying that, like, you cannot kept on increasing the interest rate, कि सिर्फ interest rate increase कर करके you cannot, you can say, reduce the supply of money from the market. आप money supply को कम करके inflation control नहीं कर सकते हो. Okay, this is not the right approach. So basically it's a signaling to your RBI governor. ये RBI गवर्नर के लिए सिग्नल है. ये सिग्नल ये कह रहा है कि that don't further increase the interest rates. Okay, and because economic growth is also important. Now as the interest rate increases, it means that loan will become costly. आपका loan costly हो जाएगा. लोन कॉस्टली हो जाएगा. द एग्जिस्टिंग लोन्स दैट आर गोइंग ऑन, इंस्टॉलमेंट्स जो हैं वो इंक्रीज हो जाएंगी. ओके, आपके इंस्टॉलमेंट्स का रेट बढ़ जाएगा. उसके अंदर आपको ज़्यादा पैसे देने पड़ेंगे, बिकॉज एज RBI विल इंक्रीज द रेट्स, डेफिनेटली बैंक्स विल ऑल्सो हैव टू इंक्रीज द रेट्स, एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द डे बर्डन विल बी पास्ड ऑन टू द लोकल पीपल. ओके, उनकी इंस्टॉलमेंट्स जो हैं वो बड़ी हो जाएंगी. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. So they said that this is the time, like, you have to think something different, because ये monetary policy से तो कुछ control नहीं हो रहा है. Inflation under control आ नहीं रहा है, and RBI is keep on increasing the interest rate. So it's a signal. So she also wants that RBI needs to be accommodative. Don't follow what global central banks are following. She said that there are other ways to reduce inflation. We are already working on that. कि सिर्फ इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ा बढ़ा के, लोन महंगे कर करके आप ये चीज नहीं कर सकते हो. बिकॉज एज लोन्स आर बिकमिंग कॉस्टलियर, डेफिनेटली इट विल इम्पैक्ट द प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट. प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट कोई करेगा ही नहीं. ओके, बिकॉज दे हैव टू गिव एक्स्ट्रा मनी. उनको ज्यादा पैसा लगेगा यहाँ पे. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर, एंड इट विल इम्पैक्ट योर ग्रोथ एज वेल. आपके ग्रोथ को ये इम्पैक्ट करेगा. तो दिस इज द इंस्ट्रक्शन दैट यू कैन से योर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर इज मेकिंग टू द RBI गवर्नर. थोड़ी सिग्नलिंग है ये, ठीक है जी. सो दिस इज व्हाट दे आर सेइंग, दैट मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी टूल लाइक इंटरेस्ट रेट इंक्रीज deployed by the several central banks would not suffice to cool the inflation. So yesterday I told you about this thing. Look at the reasons for the inflation at present. One of the reason is Ukraine Russia crisis. Okay, now Ukraine Russia crisis में RBI क्या कर सकता है? Other reason was corona. Again it was a pandemic. What can your RBI do? These were the challenges. Okay, these are sort of a challenges where you can say that monetary policy is having its own limitation, and we cannot just expect it to be, you can say, producing results. So थोड़ा बहुत करो, लेकिन ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, because economic growth is also important. हमारा focus economic growth पे भी होना चाहिए, ठीक है ना? That's the point she is making. Okay, that's the point she is making. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. Now ECB lifts the rates by record 17 basic points. So as I told you, world over this is going on. They want to control inflation, and for that they are increasing the rates. Okay, so it's their trend. Relatively, if you see, India is quite well off. उनका यहाँ पे inflation यहाँ पे तकरीबन like a 9 point something is going on. Okay, so their inflation is hitting 9.1%. In India's case, it is 6.73, like 75 in the recent month. Okay, तो हमारे पास फिर भी थोड़ा विंडो ज़्यादा है, सिचुएशन इतनी बुरी नहीं है. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. सो डिजिटल लैंडिंग रूल्स meant to end regulatory arbitrage. Okay, so what is this regulatory arbitrage? So you need to understand, like, companies, they try to exploit, okay, they try to exploit loopholes that are existing in regulation. So आपके रेगुलेशन के अंदर जो लूप होल्स होंगे, that are exploited by these companies, and it is known as regulatory arbitrage. Okay, that these companies are misusing the provisions, or the point is this, your rules and regulations are not existing. तो अगर आपके रूल्स रेगुलेशन एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते हैं, in that case is also like this arbitrage is going to be there. Okay, misuse is going to be there. This is the point that they are making here. So here we have brought some clarity over the digital lending by coming out with the digital lending rules. So this has been designed by RBI, and they had said that the idea is that regulatory arbitrage need to be protected, as simple as that, so that these companies, they are regulated and they should not evade, you can say, the provisions of digital lending. इसका misuse ना करें वो. This is how things are, and it is going to bring more clarity over the digital market in India. So this is the upcoming market. Okay, काफ़ी अच्छे से demand में है. Multiple digital players, wallets and all, they are coming up in this particular digital lending. Paytm भी है और बाकी भी बहुत सारे हैं. This is how things are taking place. Okay, so you need a framework to strike a balance between innovative and inclusive system. That's the point here. Clarity से आप innovation भी लेके आओगे, more private player will enter it. Okay, this is what the whole thing is about. So this is what we have in today's session. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.